Hello there, I'm Dr. Jada, Vice President of Care Management at Listeners on Call. It's my pleasure to be with you. And I just want to talk a little bit about overcoming the fear of the unknown or the fear of uncertainty. Now, uncertainty doesn't have to be unnerving. I have a question for you. Do you find yourself hungering for normalcy and clarity? You know, if the past 2 years have taught us anything, it is that uncertainty and change are facts of life, but they don't have to derail our sense of agency. And so overcoming the fear of the unknown or the fear of uncertainty can unfortunately be a challenging endeavor, but it can be done. I promise it can be done. So if you suffer from the fear of anxiety or the fear of uncertainty, understand what fear is and how it affects you. This can certainly start you on the road to conquering it. Now, fear has been defined in several ways. However, the most basic definition of fear is an emotional response based on the fact that we're faced with something unfamiliar or some form of impending danger. We experience fear several ways. It can be a psychological response or a physiological response, all that takes place at the same time. And so psychological events include feeling emotionally overwhelmed, having high levels of anxiety, and even feeling terrified. And then physiological responses include, say, a faster heart rate, shallow breathing, or similar effects. And experiencing fear can greatly impact our worldview or just how we view life in general. It can impact our levels of confidence. It can even have the potential of how we connect to people, potentially connecting to people in unhealthy ways. And so I just want to give you a few strategies that you can use to help you overcome your fear of uncertainty. Number one, recognize the fear. So by realizing that, hey, I'm afraid, or this is really causing me a sense of fear in this moment. If you can do that, you're more likely to get to the bottom of what the issue is. So you may have a fear of facing your fears. And the best way to conquer that fear is to accept the truth behind what's causing you to experience limited happiness in life. You may come to understand that you're afraid of failing or afraid of taking chances, or maybe you're afraid of becoming overwhelmed or afraid of not being able to live up to certain expectations. But you may be fearful because you simply don't have confidence in one's self. So being able to acknowledge that and recognize it is a very important element of understanding the fear or getting to the bottom of the fear. And then regardless of what that issue is, it's important that you recognize your fear and attempt to define what it is that makes you terrified of the unknown. And the key here, remember, is not to dwell on the fear, but rather to understand it, to understand precisely what you're worried about. Number two, determine the underlying root of the fear. So how can you identify the cause of the fear? An insightful look at your life might reveal the answer. By recognizing what causes your fears is likely to help you overcome them with great success. And oftentimes I tell my clients, if you're looking to get to the root cause of why you are afraid, I say, definitely take a look at your experiences, your family of origin, how you grew up. Maybe it's some of the traditions or the core belief values that you have. Look at the depth, that deeper layer in order to determine the root of the fear. And then finally, number three, face the fear. Once you've accepted your fear and identified the root cause, you're ready to conquer it. it sounds simple and it's easier said than done, but going through these 3 steps will help you get to the core of an issue and face it. And, make a decision that you are going to purposefully and very intentionally tackle the fear of that uncertainty and whatever it is. And if you put yourself in a place where you can grow, the next time you're faced with that fear, it may not be as intense. And so overcoming your fear of the unknown or the fear of uncertainty, of course, can be a difficult undertaking. However, if you take the time to engage in these 3 simple steps, I believe you'll discover a renewed peace and happiness very deep down in the center of your heart. And as you work to unlock those chains, and you can let go of those fears, you'll enjoy the freedom that you rightfully deserve, and you'll embrace longer lasting agency.